The beast in Bay 7 Arc 9 was the largest space station near the outer rim, floating between stars like a giant mechanical moon. It was home to thousands of beings, aliens of every shape and size. Humans were still new here, not always trusted. Most of them worked in cleaning, repair, or waste control. Jace was one of them. He worked night shifts, fixing broken pipes, air vents, and cleaning up after other species. He didn't mind. He liked the quiet and the stars. But tonight, something strange happened. While passing by Docking Bay 7, Jace heard a loud, deep growl. It made the floor under his boots shake. Alarms were flashing red near the bay doors. Signs read, "Warning, dangerous life form inside. Do not enter." Most workers would walk away. But not Jace. Curious, he peeked through the glass window. Inside, the bay, he saw it. Huge, covered in thick, dirty fur, chained by its legs and neck. The beast looked like a mix between a lion and a reptile, with glowing yellow eyes and scars all over its body. But what shocked Jace most, it was covered in mud, oil, and waste, like no one had cleaned it in weeks. Jace stepped back. "Why is it chained like that?" he whispered. "What did it do?" Later, during his break, Jace asked a fellow worker, "What's in Bay 7? The worker replied, "Some alien nobles. War beast. Vicious. Killed 5 guards just last week. Don't even go near it." But Jace couldn't stop thinking about the creature. When his shift ended at 03 Mauler station time, Jace quietly returned to Bay 7. The guards were gone. Just silence and the sound of the beast's breathing. He opened the side maintenance hatch. His heart pounded. One mistake and he'd be dead. Inside the bay, the creature turned its head slowly. It stared at him. Jace raised his hands. "Easy. I'm not here to hurt you." He found a nearby hose, filled a bucket with warm water, and pulled out an old bottle of soap from his repair kit. It wasn't made for alien fur, but it was gentle. "You're filthy," he said softly. "Let's fix that." To his surprise, the beast didn't growl. It didn't attack. Instead, it watched him, calm. Slowly, Jace moved closer, holding the sponge. He dipped it in the soapy water and touched the creature's front leg. Nothing happened. No attack, no roar. Jace cleaned the mud and dried blood from its thick fur. Under the dirt, he saw old wounds, signs of pain, not evil. "You're not a monster," he whispered. "You're just hurt." He worked in silence for over an hour. The beast closed its eyes like it hadn't rested in days. As he scrubbed its back, he noticed it lean into his touch. It was enjoying this. Jace even chuckled. "You're just a big dog, huh?" Then, a noise. Metal clanged behind him. The beast growled, not at Jace but toward the bay doors. Footsteps echoed. Voices shouted. The beast escaped. "Seal Bay 7, Jace panicked. He stepped back, hands raised. No, he's right here." But the beast did something strange. It stood and walked beside Jace. Not to attack, but to protect. Guards burst into the room with weapons aimed. "Get away from it," one shouted. "He's with the beast," another screamed. Before anyone could fire, the beast let out a low growl and stood in front of Jace like a living wall. Everyone froze. Then the bay door opened again, and she walked in. Tall, with smooth violet skin and glowing eyes, dressed in armor that shimmered like starlight. The alien girl's presence silenced the room. Jiraiya, the owner of the beast. She stared in shock. "What? What are you doing?" Jace blinked. "He was dirty. I cleaned him." Her eyes widened. "You touched him?" "I gave him a bath." The room fell completely silent. Even the beast didn't move. Jiraiya stepped forward slowly, like she was seeing something impossible. "No one touches Core and lives." Jace glanced at the creature beside him. "Well, I did." A beat passed. Then, Jiraiya whispered, "You have no idea what you've done." The alien girl arrives. The silence in Bay 7 was heavy, like the whole station had stopped breathing. Jiraiya, the alien girl with violet skin and golden armor, stood frozen at the entrance. Her eyes, bright like twin moons, stayed locked on the beast named Kor. The beast, once feared by all, now sat beside a human, calm, clean, and resting peacefully. Jace stood still. He could feel every weapon in the room aimed at him, every heartbeat in the chamber thudding louder. Jiraiya stepped forward slowly. Every soldier around her stepped aside, giving her space almost out of fear. She was not just any alien noble. She was the daughter of House Velthari, a warrior bloodline known across 10 sectors. Her voice was sharp. You, human, step away from Kor. Jace looked at the beast. He's not hurting anyone. Jiraiya's expression turned cold. Step away. Jace obeyed, raising his hands. He stepped back 3 slow paces while the beast turned its head to watch him. Kor didn't growl. He didn't move. He just blinked. Jiraiya walked up to the beast and held out her hand. Come, she said in her native tongue, but Kor didn't move. She tried again, this time louder. Kor, obey me. The beast looked at her, and then turned his head back toward Jace. Everyone in the room gasped. Even the guards lowered their weapons, confused and afraid. Jiraiya's face turned pale. This is not possible. An elder alien in the back spoke softly. The bond has changed. Jiraiya spun toward him. No, he is mine. The elder looked at Jace. You let him touch you? Jace frowned. I cleaned him, that's all. Jiraiya walked up to him, her eyes burning. You bathed Kor. Do you understand what that means? I didn't hurt him, Jace said. You did more than hurt, she snapped. You created a bond. In my culture, bathing a guardian beast is an act of deep trust. Only family may do it. Warriors train for years to even approach one. Jace looked back at Kor, who now sat between them like a silent mountain. I didn't know, Jace said quietly. Jiraiya's voice lowered. You touched what is sacred. Now Kor sees you as his equal. Or worse, his alpha. The word hit Jace hard. Alpha? He has chosen you, Jiraiya said bitterly. And in front of all these witnesses, the guards looked uneasy. Some whispered. Some lowered their weapons completely. One muttered, the beast has never obeyed anyone like that, not even her. Suddenly, the station's comm crackled. The voice of the commander filled the air. Attention all decks. Level. 9 disturbance reported. Unknown energy spike. Prepare for lockdown protocol. Everyone turned to look at Jiraiya. Without looking at them, she said, Leave. All of you. The guards hesitated, but they obeyed. One by one, they filed out. Only Jace and Jiraiya remained, with Kor sitting silently between them. Jiraiya finally broke the silence. You are either very brave or very stupid. Maybe both, Jace replied with a nervous smile. Jiraiya studied him. You don't understand what you've done. This is more than a bath, more than a mistake. Kor now listens to you. That will cause fear. And power shifts. Political problems. I didn't want any of that, Jace said. I just saw a creature that was sad and dirty. Jiraiya looked at Kor. Her voice softened. He has never allowed anyone to touch him since he was taken from his mother. Not even me. She stepped forward and sat near the beast. Kor didn't growl or flinch. Jiraiya spoke slowly. Kor was a war orphan, trained to protect the royal line. He's seen blood, death, and betrayal. He doesn't trust. He only obeys. But he let me clean him, Jace said. That means something, she whispered. To my people, it means a vow. A permanent bond. So what happens now? Jiraiya didn't answer. Instead, she stood and tapped a small device on her wrist. A glowing panel opened behind her. Come, she said. Where? My quarters. Wait, what? You've started something you can't walk away from. You must come with me. Now. Hours later, Jace stood in a private chamber filled with glowing lights, strange plants, and old symbols carved into the walls. Everything smelled of spices and oil. It was quiet here, like the sound of the station didn't reach these halls. Kor lay nearby, curled like a resting lion. Jiraiya handed Jace a cup of warm liquid. Drink. It helps with shock. Jace took it carefully. So, what now? She looked him in the eyes. I don't know. Some will say you stole Kor. Others will say Kor chose you. Either way, they will not accept it easily. Why not? Because you're human. You don't belong in our sacred bonds. Jace felt a chill. So they'll come for me? Jiraiya nodded. Yes, some will, and not just with words. She walked to a wall panel and brought up a hologram. It showed a council meeting, dozens of alien nobles speaking, shouting. The topic was Jace and Kor. They already know? He asked. They knew the moment Kor refused my command, Jiraiya said. This station is full of ears and eyes. Jace looked at her. And what about you? Do you hate me for what happened? Jiraiya looked thoughtful. I should, but I don't. Kor never trusted anyone. But with you he was calm. I've seen many warriors. You are not one of them. Yet, you did what none of them could. I just used soap and water. She smiled faintly. Perhaps that is stronger than war sometimes. Then her smile faded. But, Jace, this is only the beginning. Suddenly the lights in her quarters flickered. The power dimmed for 3 seconds. Kor stood up instantly, growling low. Jiraiya narrowed her eyes. Someone is trying to break in. She pulled a blade from her belt. They've come for you already. You bathed a royal guardian? The lights flickered again. Kor's eyes glowed in the dim light, and his low growl echoed through the room like thunder in a cave. Jiraiya moved fast, stepping between Jace and the doorway, her blade drawn. Stay. Behind me, she whispered. Jace's heart pounded. Who's coming? Enemies, she said. Maybe my own people, maybe worse. The door to her quarters hissed. The security seal tried to lock, but something on the outside forced it open. Sparks flew from the door's frame. Then, silence. Kor stepped forward, standing beside Jiraiya, eyes locked on the entrance. The door finally slid open, but no soldiers. Came in just a small spinning device floating like a drone. Black, round, silent. Jiraiya's eyes widened. Surveillance orb, elite class. The orb scanned the room with a red beam. Jace held his breath. Suddenly, Kor leapt like a bullet. He smashed the orb midair with a single swipe. Sparks exploded, and it dropped to the ground in pieces. They're testing us, Jiraiya said. Who? My enemies, maybe even the High Council. Why, because of the bath? Because of what it represents, Jiraiya said. You bonded with a royal guardian beast. To my people, that's more than friendship. It's sacred, political, dangerous. Jace looked at Kor. But he's just an animal, right? Jiraiya gave him a sharp look. No, Kor is not just an animal. He is genetically chosen, trained from birth and bound by blood to one noble line. Mine. For him to accept you means the bloodline rules are broken. She walked to the wall and touched a glowing symbol. A hidden panel opened, revealing a screen full of news feeds and internal messages. On every screen, Jace's face was displayed, along with footage from Bay 7. The bath. The beast obeying. The standoff. One headline flashed in bold letters, translated to English. Alien Guardian. Kneels before human, sacred order at risk. Jace backed away. I didn't ask for this, I was just being kind. And now that kindness could start a war, Jiraiya replied. Later that night, Jiraiya took Jace to a secret part of the station, one not listed on any map. Deep beneath, the cargo rings was the old sector, filled with unused modules, broken lights, and forgotten doors. This was the original section of Arc 9, Jiraiya said, lighting the path with a soft blue torch. Before the noble families took over. Why bring me here? Because no one watches this place, and you need to see something. They reached a sealed door. It opened with a hiss, revealing a large chamber filled with drawings on the walls, ancient murals painted in glowing ink. Jace stared at them. Beasts like Kor were shown beside alien warriors, but also beside humans? He stepped closer. That looks like us. Sharia nodded. These are pre-expansion records, before Arc 9, before the Council, when humans and my kind first met. So, this has happened before? Yes, she said. A human once bonded with a guardian beast. It caused fear among the elders, so they buried the history. They erased your kind from the sacred order. Why? Because they feared your hearts. Humans do not see beasts as weapons. You see them as companions. That kind of thinking is dangerous in a war-driven society. Jace sat down on a stone ledge. So what happens now? Sharia didn't answer right away. Instead, she placed her hand on the image of the old human. They will try to remove you. By force? Yes. Or worse. They might try to take Kor away. Jace looked at Kor, who now lay beside him like a giant dog. His eyes were half closed, peaceful. I won't let them hurt him, Jace said. Sharia turned to him. Then you must be ready to fight. The next morning, a coded message arrived on Jaria's private device. Her face darkened as she read it. They've called a meeting, she said. All noble houses. They want to decide your fate. Do, I get a say? No, she said coldly. But I'm bringing you anyway. She gave him a new set of clothes, part traditional, part human-made. Jace looked at himself in the mirror. He had never worn anything like this before. Smooth armor plates, a high-collared robe, and a symbol of House Velthari glowing at the chest. What's this for? Status, Sharia said. They will see you as my equal, not a servant. The council chamber. The noble court was vast, like a stadium made of crystal and fire. Alien lords and ladies filled the upper rings, speaking in strange languages and symbols. Sharia walked in first, her head high. Jace followed, Kor beside him. Gasps echoed across the room as Kor entered calmly, placing himself beside the human again. One elder stood. We demand an answer. Why has the royal beast abandoned tradition? Sharia raised her voice. Because a truth, long buried, has returned. Another noble growled. Humans are not meant to bond with guardians. A third shouted. This breaks our law. Then the High Chancellor, an old blue-skinned woman with eyes like stars, stood. Let the beast decide. The chamber grew silent. Kor was brought to the center. Command him, noble Sharia, the Chancellor said. Sharia gave the command word, Velthora. The beast blinked. It did not move. Gasps. Then the Chancellor turned to Jace. You, human, speak. Jace stepped forward, nervous. He placed a hand gently on Kor's neck. It's okay, boy, he whispered. I'm here. The beast stood up, faced Jace and bowed. The entire council erupted in chaos. Aftermath. Sharia and Jace returned to her quarters. The council was in a storm. Some nobles left in protest. Others feared war. Some even demanded Jace be exiled or destroyed. But one thing was clear. Kor had chosen, and nothing could change that now. Sharia stared out the window into space. You're a threat now, she said softly. To who? Jace asked. To everyone who believes power belongs only to the old blood. She turned to him. But maybe that's exactly what we need. Enemies in the airlocks. The station Arc 9 was no longer quiet. After Kor bowed to Jace in front of the noble council, whispers spread like wildfire through every hall, cargo bay, and food court. Humans walked carefully now. Some were spat at, others ignored. Strange eyes followed them from dark corners. Something was changing, and not everyone liked it. Deep in Sector 6, a small group of cloaked figures met in a maintenance tunnel. They spoke in hushed voices and rough alien tongues. On a hologram screen floated the image of Jace, standing with Kor and Sharia at the council trial. He is a threat to the old blood, one hissed. Then we remove him, said another. No, said a third. We remove the beast first, then the human. They pulled out a glowing orb. Inside it, blue liquid pulsed like a living thing. What is that? Asked the youngest. Genetic disruptor, said the leader. If we inject it into Core, it will erase the bond, maybe even kill him. The youngest hesitated. But the guardian beast is sacred, the leader growled. Not anymore, not after bowing to a human. They set their plan. Meanwhile, in Sharia's quarters, the tension was growing. Core lay asleep near the wall, still and peaceful. Jace sat at the edge of the bed, staring at the floor. You okay? Sharia asked. No, Jace replied. He stood up. Since I bathed that beast, my life has flipped upside down. I was just a janitor. Now I'm in meetings with alien nobles and guards follow me everywhere. And some people want me dead. Sharia nodded. You're not wrong. But you also have something powerful now, Core's trust. And maybe mine. Jace looked at her. You trust me? Sharia didn't answer right away. She looked at Core. He's never trusted anyone but me. I can't ignore what he sees in you. Suddenly Core's ears twitched. He stood up fast, nose sniffing the air. Jiraiya stood as well, alert. What is it? Jace asked. Then they heard it. A faint click, like metal shifting behind the walls. Jiraiya moved fast, touching a hidden panel near the door. A wall slid open to reveal her personal weapons locker. She handed Jace a small round device. Hold this. What is it? Personal shield. If something attacks, this will block one hit. One hit? Just one, she said. So don't waste it. A moment later, the lights dimmed. Core growled deep. A gas vent hissed from the ceiling. Jiraiya shouted, Get down! They dropped to the floor as a strange blue mist filled the room. Jace coughed. What is this? Sleeper gas, Jiraiya said, covering her mouth with her sleeve. They're trying to knock us out. But Core was already moving. His large body slammed against the gas vent, crushing it. Then came the second wave. 3 attackers in dark armor burst in through the airlock door. Silent, fast, and armed, with long stingers that glowed blue. Injectors! Jiraiya shouted. They're after Core! The first assassin lunged. Core spun and smashed it into the wall with one paw. The second attacker jumped at Jace, blade ready. Jiraiya threw her knife. Direct hit. The third managed to stab Core in the side. No! Jace screamed. Core roared in pain, spinning and ripping, the attacker in half with his jaws. Blue blood sprayed across the floor. Jace ran to Core. What did they hit you with? Jiraiya knelt beside them. It's a disruptor, meant to sever the mental link. Jace grabbed the injector and looked at the symbol. This isn't from your house. No, Jiraiya said, standing up. This is from House Draxon, my family's enemy. Why? Because if you and Core remain bonded, my family gains more power. They want to stop that before the next council vote, Core whimpered, shaking. Jace put a hand on his fur. Stay with me, buddy. Stay with me. And then something happened. The mark on Jace's new armor, House Velthari's sigil, glowed. Core's breathing slowed. The beast closed its eyes, then opened them again, steady and clear. The bond was still there. Jiraiya stared in disbelief. He resisted the disruptor. That should be impossible. Jace stood up, still touching Core. Maybe kindness is stronger than blood. Jiraiya gave a slow smile. You're more than a janitor now. The next day, news of the attack spread fast. Some aliens demanded answers. Others accused Jace of faking it all. Rumors of a second war began circulating, but Jiraiya had a plan. If they want to fear the bond, she said, then let them witness its strength. She brought Jace and Core to the training arena, an ancient part of the station where beasts and warriors once trained in front of crowds. Now it was quiet. Just them, and a watching eye above, broadcasting everything to the nobles. What are we doing? Jace asked. Proving you're not weak, Jiraiya said. She pulled out a blade and tossed another one to him. Wait, I don't fight, Jace said. You will now. Jiraiya attacked, not to hurt, but to test. Jace blocked the first swing with the training blade stumbled back and nearly fell. Core stood nearby, alert but calm. Jiraiya came again, Fast, precise. Jace blocked. Again. Again. Every time he moved, Kor's head followed. He was learning Jace's rhythm. Finally, Sharia called. Out, Kor, defend. And without hesitation the beast leapt forward, circling Jace, shielding him from every angle. Sharia smiled. They'll see this, she said. And they'll know. You're not pretending. Later that evening, deep in the council chambers, House Draxon leaders whispered in anger. The disruptor failed. He still stands. We must try something else. The eldest of them nodded. Then we don't go for the beast, we go for her. Sharia. Yes, he growled. Make her fall. The beast will break. The human will be left alone. And so a new plan was set into motion, the Saboteur's Clause. The news hit Arc 9 like a meteor. Royal Guardian survives assassination attempt. Bond with humans stronger than expected. Screens across the station lit up with the image of Kor defending Jace in the training arena. Some watched with wonder, others with fear, and a few with hatred. Behind the scenes, House Draxon sharpened its knives. Sharia sat in her private chamber staring at the data logs. She looked more tired than before, like the weight of everything was slowly pressing down on her shoulders. Jace entered the room quietly, Kor walking beside him like a shadow. You called me? He asked. Sharia looked up, then handed him a small device. A message was intercepted. They're planning to kill me next. Jace froze. Who? Someone inside the council. They want to collapse my house. If they take me out, my title dies with me. And so does the beast connection to your world. Jace glanced at Kor. He won't let that happen. Sharia stood. He may not get a choice. They've found a new way, something older, darker. She walked to the corner of her chamber and activated a panel hidden under the floor. Inside was a black crystal pulsing with red light. What is that? Jace asked. A control shard. Made before the Great Species Pact, it can command beasts like Kor, override instincts, force loyalty. Jace backed away. How did you get it? My mother, Sharia whispered. She left it to me. With a warning. If this shard is ever used again, the line between protector and monster will break. You think Draxon will use it? I think they already have. Meanwhile, in a dark chamber lit only by green torches, members of House Draxon stood in a circle. At the center was a beast, larger than Kor, covered in armor plates and pulsing with veins of fire. A modified guardian. Its eyes were lifeless, controlled. He is ready, the elder said. We've broken the last of its will. The control. Shard holds strong, a younger noble asked. When do we strike? Soon, the elder growled. During the peace summit, when all houses gather, we release this beast and blame Kor. The human bond will be blamed. Sharia will fall. And the human, he'll be dealt with. The beast too. All of it. Erased. Back on Arc 9, preparations. For the peace summit had begun. The nobles tried to show smiles, but everyone felt the tension. Guards were everywhere. Rumor was the humans might finally be granted limited status in the council. Jace and Jiraiya stood in front of a mirror. She adjusted the collar of his robe. You nervous? She asked. Like crazy, he admitted. Good, she said. Means you're awake. They both laughed softly. Kor sat beside them, now wearing ceremonial armor, silver plates marked with both Jiraiya's crest and a strange new symbol. One from the ancient murals Jace had seen earlier. You added that? Jace asked. Yes, she said. It's the mark of the first human-beast bond. They erased it from history. We're putting it back. Later that day, the summit began. The great dome of Arc 9's central chamber was filled with leaders from every house. Lights sparkled from above like a second sky. Humans were allowed to watch from the upper rings, many for the first time. Jace stood beside Jiraiya, dressed in formal armor. Kor stood between them, calm and alert. The High Chancellor stood and raised her staff. We meet to discuss the future of peace, she began, but recent events have shaken this station. We have seen bonds formed and lines broken. As she spoke, Sharia leaned close to Jace. They'll make their move soon. Be ready. Jace nodded, hand on his belt, where Sharia had hidden a small shock blade. Just as the Chancellor was about to announce a vote on human status, chaos broke loose. An explosion shattered the outer ring of the dome. Smoke filled the chamber. Guards rushed to protect the nobles. Then from the smoke it came, the modified beast, twice Core's size with burning eyes and chains still dragging behind it, charged into the chamber with a roar that made the air crackle. Some screamed, others ran. The beast leapt straight into the center and locked eyes on Core. Core growled. It's a challenge, Sharia said. They want your bond broken. Jace stepped forward. No. Sharia grabbed him. He'll kill you. But Jace was calm. He looked at Core. You're not alone. Core stared into his eyes, then roared and charged. The two beasts clashed in the center, claws ripping, teeth snapping, bodies crashing against the stone floor. Nobles shouted. Guards aimed weapons, but Sharia raised her hand. No one interferes. Jace stood frozen as the two beasts fought, his hand tight around the shock blade. The enemy beast was stronger, but Core was faster, smarter. But then, the enemy's eyes glowed red. It moved like a puppet. Too perfect, not natural. They're using the control shard, Sharia whispered. We have to break it. Where is it? Jace asked. On the beast, she said. Look, there, around its neck. A small black collar pulsed with red energy. Jace knew what he had to do. Keep them busy, he told her. Then he ran, through fire, smoke, and falling debris. He ran straight at the two fighting beasts. Sharia screamed his name, but he didn't. Stop! Core saw him coming and blocked the enemy beast with his shoulder. Jace leapt forward, dodging a swipe, and grabbed onto the enemy's back. The beast bucked wildly, trying to throw him off. But Jace reached the collar and jammed the shock. Blade into it, energy exploded. The beast screamed, a deep broken howl of pain, and then silence. The red light faded. The beast collapsed, breathing shallow. Jace rolled onto the floor, gasping. Jiraiya ran to him, kneeling beside him. You're insane, she said, smiling, through her shock. Completely insane. But it worked, right? He gasped. Behind them, Core stood tall. The nobles stared in stunned silence. The High Chancellor finally spoke. He risked his life. For both our species. Sharia stood, helping Jace up. Not for power, not for pride, just for peace. The Chancellor nodded. Then let peace begin. With him. Aftermath. House Draxon was investigated. The modified beast, once free of control, became calm and docile. They had to answer for everything. Sharia was cleared of blame. And Jace? He was no longer just a janitor. He was now something else. A symbol. The first human ever granted guardian status. The beast's gift Arc-9 was no longer just a space station. It had become a symbol of change. After the summit attack, everything shifted. Humans were still treated with caution, but now they were seen, respected, even feared. And at the center of it all was a human no one had expected. Jace, a janitor now bonded to a royal guardian beast, a man who risked his life not for glory, but to protect peace. Days passed. Repairs on the council chamber began. Nobles returned to their homes. Sharia received dozens of messages, some offering support, others laced with quiet threats. But it was Jace who felt the biggest change. Wherever he walked, eyes followed. Some curious, some grateful, and some still full of silent hate. He tried to ignore it. Instead, he spent time in the Beast Sanctuary, an old training area now reopened as a space for recovering guardians. It was peaceful, filled with soft lights and warm floors. Core lay on one side, watching young trainees with quiet pride. But his eyes always followed Jace. He's different now, Jace said one day. Sharia stood beside him. He's growing. You both are. Is it the bond? Part of it, she said. But also, you gave him something no training ever did. You gave him peace. That night, something strange happened. Jace couldn't sleep. A strange pressure filled his chest, like something was calling him. He stepped out of his room and found Core already waiting in the hallway. The beast nudged him gently, then turned and began walking. You want me to follow you? Jace asked. Core grunted softly and kept walking. Jace followed without asking more. They moved through quiet corridors, past darkened lights and sleeping sectors. Finally, they reached an old lift, the kind no one used anymore. Core pressed his paw against the control panel. The lift activated. They descended, deeper than Jace had ever gone before. The hidden chamber. The lift opened to darkness, but Core walked confidently. Lights flickered on as they passed, revealing a massive hidden chamber. Walls covered in carvings, floors made of stone and metal fused together. At the center, an ancient structure shaped like a temple, tall and silent. Jace stepped forward. What is this place? Core moved ahead, stopping before the structure. The doors opened. Inside was a single pedestal, and on it, a glowing stone. Jace stepped closer. His chest tightened. He couldn't breathe for a moment. His hand moved without thinking, reaching for the stone. But as soon as he touched it, everything changed. The vision light exploded in his mind. He wasn't on Arc 9 anymore. He stood on a green planet, skies bright and full of birds. Guardian beasts roamed freely. No chains, no armor. Beside them walked humans and alien warriors. Together, then came fire, ships falling from the sky. War. Betrayal. He saw a human, tall, strong, wearing the same armor Jace wore now, and beside him, a beast that looked just like Core. They fought together. Then the beast was captured, the bond broken. The human fell, and the memory was buried. Until now. Jace woke on the floor of the chamber. Core stood over him, watching closely. Jiraiya was there too, panting. I felt something. Your energy. It reached me. Jace sat up slowly. I saw him, the first human, the first bond. Jiraiya's eyes widened. He was real? Yes, Jace whispered. And Core is his beast. She froze. What? Core isn't just a royal guardian. He's the original, the first bonded beast. His memory was locked away, like a prison. Jiraiya turned to Core. But how is he alive? Jace looked at the stone still glowing on the pedestal. Because they made him that way. Immortal, until his true bond returned. She stared at Jace. You're his second bond. No, Jace said. I'm his final bond. Back on the surface, the discovery couldn't stay secret for long. Jiraiya and Jace brought the memory crystal to the High Chancellor. After seeing the vision herself, the Chancellor called an emergency gathering. This time, not of nobles, but of scholars, keepers, and guardians. The truth was laid bare. Core was the original beast, created with a single purpose, to bridge the species. A symbol of unity, not war. His memory was erased after betrayal, his story buried, until Jace, unknowingly, set him free with an act of kindness. The room was silent. Then one of the guardians, a battle-hardened alien, stood up and said, If that beast still believes in humans, maybe we should too. But not all accepted it. In the dark corners of the station, resistance brewed. Old leaders of House Draxon, now hiding in shadow, made one final plan. He is too powerful now. One hissed. Then we don't strike the beast, another said. We strike the bond. The return of the saboteur. 2 nights later, the lights in Jace's quarters went black. The air turned cold, and from the ceiling, a figure dropped silently, claws glinting in the dark. But before the blade could strike, Core moved, Like thunder, he smashed through the room, slamming into the assassin. A short fight, silent, deadly. When it ended, the attacker was on the floor, gasping. Jiria arrived seconds later with guards. Jace stood over the broken figure. He removed the mask and froze. It was a human. Betrayal. The man looked up, blood on his lips. They promised me freedom. He spat. Who? Jace asked. The old houses. They said you were bringing danger. That core would turn, that the bond would enslave us all. Jiria stepped forward. They lied. The man laughed bitterly. Doesn't matter. They said, if I killed you, they'd protect my family. His voice broke. I just wanted to be more than a cleaner. Jace looked at him with pity. You could have been. You still can. But it was too late. The man passed out. The guards took him away. Jiria turned to Jace. They're scared. They're desperate. Then we finish this, he said. We end it. Not with war, but with truth. He bathed a beast and tamed a war. Arc-9 stood on the edge of a new age. Word had spread across the system of the human who bonded with a royal beast, of the buried truth, and of the betrayal of the old houses. The memory crystal had been seen by many, but not all believed it. Fear still lingered in the shadows, and in those shadows, something moved. Jiria stood before the High Council for the last time. Jace stood beside her, dressed not in ceremonial armor but in simple gray robes, the same kind he wore as a cleaner. Kor, his guardian, sat at his side, calm and powerful. Around them sat leaders from all houses, some with hope in their eyes, others with suspicion. The High Chancellor stood. Today we hear the final voice, she said. We have seen visions. We have felt the return of old truth. But before we cast our final vote, the human shall speak. The room turned silent. Jace stepped forward. Jace's speech. I didn't come here to change the galaxy, he said. I came to clean pipes, fix broken toilets, and maybe see the stars. He looked at Kor. But then I saw him, chained, dirty, forgotten. And I did what any decent person would do. I gave him a bath. Soft laughter spread through the room. But Jace's voice grew firmer. I didn't know that bath would break a 1,000-year rule. I didn't know it would reveal a secret buried under fear. And I didn't know he'd choose me. He turned to the council. But maybe that's the point. Real change doesn't come from power or bloodlines. It comes from simple choices. From kindness. From one person doing the right thing when no one else will. He placed his hand gently on Kor's head. You want to know what makes a true guardian bond? It's not control. It's not genetics. It's trust. He looked up, eyes steady. And if this station is brave enough to trust again, across species, across blood, then maybe peace isn't a dream. The chamber fell into deep silence. The High Chancellor gave a nod. We have heard the final voice. The vote begins. As the vote starts, far below, in the underbelly of Arc-9, a forgotten access tunnel lit up. A small device clicked on. Red lights blinked. A timer. 10 ways in the shadows. A hidden transmitter sent one final signal to the stars. It was House Draxon's last strike. A beacon, summoning something terrible. Not a bomb, a ship. Above the station, just as the council prepared to cast their vote, alarms rang across Arc-9. Unidentified vessel approaching fast, non-responsive to comms. Impact course confirmed. Guards ran to defense positions. Cannons activated, shields rose. Jiria turned to Jace. It's not just about us anymore. He nodded. They're going to crash it into the station. No, she whispered. They want to destroy the memory crystal. If the truth is erased, the old lies stay alive. Jace looked at the High Council. Stall them. We're going to the core. The race to the memory core. Jace, Jiria, and Kor rushed through blast doors and shield fields, passing engineers and panicked officers. The memory crystal had been moved to the station's secure vault, deep inside the main data core. Guards tried to stop them, but Jiria flashed her family seal, emergency protocol, Override all access. The doors opened. They reached the crystal chamber just as the ship entered Arc 9's lower atmosphere. From the window above, flames streaked across the sky. "We have 2 minutes," Jace said. Sharia handed him a data spike. "Upload the crystal to the galactic net. Even if Arc 9 is lost, the truth won't be." Jace ran to the terminal, inserted the spike, and began the upload. 80%. Kor stood at the door, growling. Sharia's eyes narrowed. "We're not alone." From the shadows, the last Draxan assassin stepped forward, blade drawn. "You should have stayed a cleaner," he hissed. Jace raised his arms. "You don't have to do this." The assassin smirked. "I do, for our blood." He lunged. Kor intercepted, but this time the assassin threw a stun disc. Kor collapsed, shaking. Sharia shouted and engaged the assassin, blades clashing in sparks. Jace rushed to Kor's side. "You're okay, buddy, just stay with me." Upload 93%. Sharia was fast, but the assassin was ruthless. A hidden blade cut her side. She fell to her knees. "No," Jace cried. The assassin turned to finish her, but Jace stood in his way. "You don't scare me," Jace said. "You should be," the assassin replied, but he never got the chance to strike. Kor rose, wounded, furious, and slammed the assassin against the wall. Then silence. The signal Jace returned to the terminal. Upload complete. The memory of the first Guardian bond, the vision of peace, trust and betrayal, was now sent to every major planet, every ship, every council in the system. The truth was free. The crashing ship never made it to the vault. Arc 9's outer cannons, now fully activated, fired one final blast. The ship exploded. In the sky, fire raining like golden stars. After the storm days later, Arc 9 was quiet again, but different. On every screen, people watched the memory. They saw Jace, Kor, and the truth. And slowly, fear gave way to understanding. For the first time, species who never spoke now met. Humans were offered new positions, ambassadors, engineers, even guardians in training. And the council? They changed the law. One voice, one vote, one bond. Jace's choice. The High Chancellor offered him a seat at the council, but Jace declined. "I'm not a politician," he said, "but I'd like to open something else." And so he did. On the lower decks of Arc 9, Jace and Sharia built a new sanctuary, not just for beasts but for anyone cast aside, any species, any class, and at the center of it, Kor, still calm, still watching, still bonded. Final moment. One evening, Jace sat on the floor beside Kor, watching the stars through the glass dome. Sharia joined him, holding 2 mugs of steam fruit tea. "You know," she said, "this all started with soap and water." Jace laughed. "Yeah, weird, huh? A bath that broke an empire." Jace nodded, then looked at Kor. "Thank you, friend." Kor gave a soft grunt and nudged Jace's shoulder gently. Outside the dome, stars passed slowly, and somewhere, beyond them, a new message spread. Peace isn't born in war. Peace is built with care, and one human, who gave a beast a bath,